The sun was a merciless orb in a bleached white sky, ruthlessly hammering the earth like a blacksmith strikes metal. Kalen, a crow with feathers dulled by dust, stumbled across the cracked ground. His throat rasped like sandpaper, his vision blurred, and his wings felt heavy. His world had narrowed to a single burning need: water. Death seemed very real. Then a miracle. His desperate eyes spotted a clay water pot, abandoned near an old farmhouse. Hope, a fleeting ghost, surged, then vanished. The water inside was a mocking shimmer, a mere finger width at the bottom of a deep, narrow well. He lunged for it, thrusting his beak into the narrow opening. His heart sank. The water was there. He could smell it, but it lay far below, a shimmering, unreachable promise. A mere inch of life, separated by an impossible gap. He stabbed his beak into the void. He strained and twisted his neck, scraping the clay with his beak. Every desperate effort only met cool clay and the echo of his failure. Cold, final despair began to consume him. Colder than the water he longed for. To have found salvation, only to be denied by a few cruel inches. This is how it ends, he thought. Not with a fight, but with an inch of impossible distance. As he slumped against the pot, defeated, his gaze drifted to the ground. Not as a whole, but in fragments. A universe of pebbles. One in particular caught the light. A thought, fragile and weak as a spider web, yet clear, formed in his mind and cut through the fog of his thirst. What if the water can't come to me? But I can bring the ground to the water. It was a feeble hypothesis, a final, quiet act of defiance. A thought. It was not a grand plan, but a tiny, desperate what if. With his last bit of strength, he picked up the first pebble. Clink. It sank. The water rose slightly, almost unnoticeably. Another clink. And another. The change was subtle. It was just a single grain of sand. But a shift had taken place. He was no longer a victim of the pot. He was an architect of his salvation. There was no immediate reward. No dramatic surge of water. Just the monotonous, grueling work. Find a pebble, drop it, repeat. Each sound was a tiny drumbeat of progress. Each pebble was a vote of confidence in his new system. Clink, clink, clink. His muscles yelled in protest. His thirst burned like a raging fire. The water was no longer just a distant dream, shimmering at the bottom. Gradually and almost miraculously, it became a rising tide, powered by 1,000 tiny, cumulative actions. The law of compounding returns, written in water and stone. Finally, the moment arrived. He didn't lunge. He simply bowed his head, dipped his beak, and drank. The water was not a sudden rush, but a slow, satisfying quench. The sweetest he had ever tasted. Not because of its purity, but because of the journey of each drop to meet his beak. A reward earned not by a single heroic effort, but by the relentless application of a simple, powerful system. Saved, not by a miracle, but by a method. Moral of the story. This fable serves as a masterclass in cognitive shifting. The crow's journey illustrates the shift from frustrated failure to intelligent success. The crow's initial attempts, the big, desperate lunges, represent our desire for a quick, one-and-done solution to problems through brute force and repetition. When this approach fails, it causes frustration and burnout, often leading to blaming the obstacle, such as the pot, and falling into despair. The pebbles symbolize atomic habits. Individually, each pebble is insignificant. However, collectively, they produce a cascading effect, solving a problem indirectly by altering the surrounding system. This captures the essence of innovation. The pebbles are marginal gains. Neurologically, each small, successful action delivers a dopamine hit, building momentum and transforming a challenging task into a manageable process. This explains the science behind habit formation. A tiny reward that reinforces the behavior and kept the crow going, even when the end goal feels distant. The crow succeeded by abandoning the fixed goal, reach the water, and adopting a simple system, drop pebbles. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. The principle is universal. Whether you're learning a skill, building a business, or improving your health, forget about the daunting pot. Focus on finding your next pebble. The combined effect of small, consistent actions is the most powerful force in achievement.